April showers bring May flowers? We'll see about that. The chance for thunderstorms increasing again across the state over the next several days, and with it, heavy rain and the potential for some severe weather. Let's talk about it in this Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 30th of April, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We thankfully had a much quieter Monday afternoon and Monday night across the state of Texas. We had a few showers and storms yesterday afternoon, but for the most part we were dry, and it was a pretty nice day out. Today, almost some of the same, but humidity increasing again east of the dry line, and the dry line itself may throw out a few storms this afternoon, and then we get back into a busier weather pattern over the second half of the week, and well, probably into next week as it looks now. So let's just start off. Severe weather outlooks. This is going to be for today. The potential for isolated severe thunderstorms east of the dry line, northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Permian Basin, down pretty much almost towards the eastern side of the Big Bend, western Concho Valley. This is a risk for the potential for a few slow-moving supercell thunderstorms, let's just say late this afternoon through the mid-evening hours. We're not expecting many storms today, but those that do get going, a couple, could produce maybe golf ball, maybe tennis ball size hail, localized damaging winds of 60 to 65 miles an hour. The overall tornado threat today very, very low, thanks to weak low-level wind shear. Poof, magical edit, we're back. Okay, I messed up. We cut in here. We're okie dokie. Again, the overall storm threat today very limited in terms of the number of storms expected. As we go into tomorrow, a bit of a different story. We're expecting a more active weather pattern to return. Higher chances for scattered severe thunderstorms east of the dry line tomorrow afternoon across the eastern Texas Panhandle, extending back into northwest Texas, west central Texas, Permian Basin, the Big Country, all the way down into the eastern part of the Big Bend. And then the potential for some storms late tomorrow afternoon, but more likely tomorrow night across Texoma, North Texas, the Hill Country, the Edwards Plateau, Central Texas, South Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, North Texas. We'll refine this as we get more data later today. There is probably some chance some of these risk levels will be expanded further east. But again, tomorrow's severe weather threat, we could be talking about hail up to the size of baseballs, localized damaging wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour, and the potential for a couple of tornadoes, especially across northwest Texas and the eastern Texas Panhandle late tomorrow afternoon, early tomorrow evening, as low-level wind shear is relatively maximized in those regions. All right, let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. This will be for today, tonight, and to tomorrow. You can see today, isolated thunderstorms possible east of that dry line, dissipating by about 10 p.m. in the areas mentioned. Quiet tonight. So we go into tomorrow. Things get active. About 3 o'clock, storms fire up east of the dry line. Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin down to the Big Bend. Those storms potentially moving east as a cluster into northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Hill Country, North Texas, Texoma, into Central Texas early. I'm sorry, my days are getting mixed up. Early Thursday morning. And there's also, this model is indicating there is some chance we may actually see a couple of thunderstorms fire up way further east tomorrow afternoon across portions of the Hill Country, Central Texas, South Central Texas, maybe the Brazos Valley. We'll refine tomorrow's thunderstorm threat in an update later today, but again, it does look like we're going to get more active tomorrow. Now, the difference between tomorrow and several days last week, upper level wind shears are going to be weaker. We don't have a super strong upper level jet streak or storm system coming in. So storms tomorrow going to be slower moving. Tornado threat definitely much lower, not zero, but definitely not the levels we dealt with the multi-day tornado outbreak last week into the weekend. Storms again are typical dry line storms. So again, heavy rain, hail, damaging winds, a low tornado threat. We'll keep an eye on it. But again, it's going to get more active again tomorrow. Now, as we go into Thursday, well, it looks like we're going to have that cluster of showers and storms move across pretty much the eastern half of the state Thursday morning. Maybe a cool front coming in, really in name only. If we're being realistic here, it's not going to cool things off that much, but it could allow for another round of maybe isolated scattered storms in proximity to that cold front Thursday evening as it moves south out of Oklahoma into places like Texoma, North Texas, the Arklatex, Northeast Texas. We'll refine that as we get closer, and some of those storms could also be on the strong side and with heavy rain. Now, as we take a look at the longer range weather model from the Global Forecast System, Friday, potential for dryline storms. Panhandle, West Texas, Permian Basin, Big Bend. Saturday, maybe a few storms in Northeast Texas, North Texas, Texoma. More storms probably across portions of the Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas as well. The real reason I'm showing you this, honestly, is just to show you that pretty much every day beginning today, late afternoon, evening hours, isolated to scattered to, at times, several thunderstorms expected. The strongest storms each day probably having the potential for hail, localized damaging winds, a non-zero tornado threat. The exact tornado threat will fluctuate day to day, and heavy rainfall, especially considering the fact we've had quite a bit of rain across parts. So we go through the next couple of days across the state with the rain chances kind of a little today, but then really picking up tomorrow, Thursday into Thursday night. We're looking at another round of potentially problematic rainfall across southern North Texas and the East Texas, where we could see between 1 to, at times, all the way up to 6 inches of rain in localized areas, places like Waco, over towards Tyler, Lufkin, the northern Brazos Valley. Some of these areas flooded big time the other day, so any more rain like this is going to cause new flooding, so we're going to have to be mindful of that. At this point, looking like, let's just say 1/4 inch all the way up to, we'll just say 1 inch of rain. Eastern Panhandle, parts of West Central Texas, Northwest Texas, Texoma, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, the parts of the Permian Basin, all the way down towards the Edwards Plateau, Hill Country again, Central Texas, South Central Texas, east into the southern half of the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, and then kind of towards the Golden Triangle with the heaviest rains through Friday morning. Again, the potential for 1 to locally up to 6 inches of rain across parts of Central Texas, North Texas, East Texas, and Northeast Texas, the Arklatex. So we are probably going to be dealing with some, at least localized flooding issues, at least new flooding issues. I'm sure there's still flooding ongoing. In terms of the fire weather outlook over the next few days, west of the dry line, which means those of you at least in the western half of the Panhandle to pretty much the whole Panhandle west of the dry line, West Texas, the western Permian Basin, the Davis-Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, the borderland around El Paso, and the Big Bend. Fire danger is going to be high, very high to extreme over the next few days with warm temperatures, very dry air west of the dry line, probably some blowing dust thanks to the wind, and again, any fires that get going could be problematic. For what it's worth, after Thursday into Friday, again, we're going to be dealing with thunderstorm chances in parts of the state well into next week. This weekend looks like rain chances may go up as we go into Saturday, Sunday, and as we get into next week, we may switch back from just, scattered showers and storms to more of a significant severe weather threat, even though we have severe weather issues potentially every day for the remainder of the week, at least locally. There's some indications we may switch into what's called a synoptically favorable pattern for severe weather across the southern plains and central plains of the United States as we get into next week. That's just a return of the more significant jet streak, and upper level storm systems, which would bring a continued chance for thunderstorms, some potentially severe, and for what it's worth, it's also expected to become quite warm and humid, meaning the heat index values next week probably are going to be unpleasant, with temperatures across the state probably well up into the 90s. That's going to be it for your Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. As always, thank you to all those who have been hitting that subscribe button. We passed 30,000 subscribers on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel the other day. We appreciate everyone who's been joining us on this journey. We appreciate your comments, feedback, good or bad. Hey, you know what? We appreciate it. It helps us improve. And as always, hit that big old thumbs up button. It helps us with the magical super duper algorithm. All right, that'll be it for your Texas Weather Roundup. We'll have the next one out by 7 a.m. Wednesday. Again, I do expect you'll hear from me later today as we keep an eye on isolated storm chances today and then the potential for scattered severe storms tomorrow. Y'all make it a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you later. God bless.